All right. Let's see.
And we've talked about that. We think that's conditioning because back home, everything people want their house to look great on the inside, but also look amazing from the curb.
Right.
And here in Ecuador, many of the properties, they don't really care what it looks like on the outside.
Right.
But you go in and you're like, whoa.
That's behind that wall?
Yes,
That's behind that gate?
They don't need the exterior aesthetics.
Right.
They don't prioritize it at all.
That's 100% true.
So you can spot the gringo houses.
Right, because they all do it.
You know it because they look amazing from the road.
Yep.
You know,
Oh, that's
No, they invited like 8 other families.
okay, more than 4
And just for us.
awesome.
to come meet us.
Sure.
It was like truly impacting.
Super touching.
He's always upside down or in some contorted position. The flexibility is
it's
scary.
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Nice.
You can
That's
just
the big-
try
that's a
everything.
huge thing.
We
Right.
try everything because it's affordable. So it's like, let's just do it once and
Right.
be, whereas you would never,
Yeah.
I would never do that in the States.
You said
We could do it in a way that respects the land.
100%.
Like I'm sure no one wants to come in and just Americanize Vilcabamba. No, like work with this incredible scenery. And because I have not become fluent in Spanish, I have the same shallow interaction with the store owners and the market owners over and over and over, and it frustrates me.
So I would say that was my biggest thing, that I thought I could cook. And then I moved here and I actually couldn't cook.
Right.
But now I can.
Right. Yeah.
It feels, I would describe Vilcabamba as like an exhale.
Okay, so you guys, you're here. You've met some of the guys. You've played some hoops, but the family's still in alone, right?
Still in alone.
How did you guys? What compelled you to say, guys, this is definitely our next chapter of our lives?
Well, the kids were kind of over the beach. The weather had been cloudy, was already cloudy. And Vilcabamba was just an amazing place during my little 6-day visit. I loved it. And then Mary even ended up sending me I didn't know how to contact you. Actually, no, I drove around
With Erica.
with Erica to a few rentals. But then Mary sent me a link to this house we're at now.
And Mary was just the host of the
She was just the host. She was just trying to help me out. And so I came and visited this house, and it's a great place. And so I ended up putting money on the rental and say, hey, we're going to be here June 1st.
Okay.
And I was talking to Michelle and I was calling you and I'm like, babe, I'm sending her videos, send her the video.
You were talking about all the restaurants. You were talking about how
there's good
cute
food
everything was. He loves like the aesthetics, like how the restaurants look. So it's
great.
Doesn't really matter how they taste. So he would be like, oh my gosh, they have lights. You're just it's amazing. You're going to love it. You were doing all that to me.
And we've talked about that. We think that's conditioning because back home, everything people want their house to look great on the inside, but also look amazing from the curb.
Right.
And here in Ecuador, many of the properties, they don't really care what it looks like on the outside.
Right.
But you go in and you're like, whoa.
That's behind that wall?
Yes,
That's behind that gate?
They don't need the exterior aesthetics.
Right.
They don't prioritize it at all.
That's 100% true.
So you can spot the gringo houses.
Right, because they all do it.
You know it because they look amazing from the road.
Yep.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Well, and I think both of us are very social, and we really like to socialize with other families. And I think when you came here, you felt so welcomed and you felt like you were family with people that you had just met. And that was something we were missing in Alone. So I think that was another big,
that was a
reason
big
that you
attraction.
like, yes,
built in, we're going to have community right away.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's cool. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but people here, both kids and adults, kids can be who they are without judgment. Same with adults. People don't wear there's some unique folks in Vilcabamba.
Yes, there are.
All over the map.
And you know what you're going to get though. Like nobody's really wearing a mask.
Yeah.
People are who they are, and then you can choose to engage or not. And if you don't want to, cool.
Yeah.
But nobody's like pushing on you, or you don't have that. I don't know.
The
It's just,
expectations.
right.
I feel like this place is really free of expectations.
yeah. It's great in that
And that's
way.
huge.
Really great.
And it makes for phenomenally interesting conversations.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. If you care to hear them.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you'll find out so much.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Some really cool stories.
Cool. So those were some of the things you went back to alone and said, guys, let's do it.
It's the place.
And
Which we kind of already knew from what we had read and what we had seen.
But it
and what
confirmed
this
our
girl
feelings.
Sure,
was, this random girl.
and the Klube. I mean, come on. I mean, the guys that don't know, Klube is like the Ecuadorian
Yeah.
Miller Lite.
Yes.
Kind of. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I think it tastes like Rolling Rock.
It does taste like Rolling
You've
Rock.
had Rolling Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Miller Lite for
There's like two popular local beers. It's the Klube and the Pilsner. Most of the Ecuadorians I know prefer the Pilsner.
right.
I prefer the clue.
I prefer the Klube as well. Yeah.
And here in Vilcabamba, there's a craft brewery as well.
Yes,
So
there's
you can get
several,
like
yeah.
Pilsner, but you can also get IPAs if you're into beer.
Yeah.
Lager, all the different beers are here if
Yeah.
you're into that.
There's a couple different microbreweries in town. There's Sol de Venado, which does really
Yeah.
really clean ingredients. They don't use the mouthfeel preservatives and other I don't even know what they're called in the
like
brewing.
additives
Yeah,
and
additives and
chemicals,
preservatives
maybe.
and stuff. So they're really clean. They do a nice microbrew. There's not Vanilla Wilca. It's Wilca Brewing Company at Descanso del Toro. Have you tried their
Yeah.
Yes.
microbrews? Right. So that's probably my favorite IPA in town. Zarza does
Yes, that's
microbrews.
right.
They have a nice IPA and nice other different styles of beers. So there's
Pretty
several
crazy. It's pretty unique
Right.
that those are here.
Right,
Yes.
sleepy little village in the Andes Mountains. And
Yes.
you guys did talk about
We
the
didn't even talk about the views here.
views, the restaurants, right? We got a lot to talk about. But let's get the kids here.
Yeah.
And you guys get here, and then we can talk about some of the. Maybe you can share some of the things that the kids really enjoy and what you've liked. What's met expectations, what hasn't, and because now it's been some time that you've been in Vilcabamba proper
Yeah.
now, right? It's
Yeah.
been 6 months, or how long you guys been here now?
Like 8 months.
Well, yeah.
total. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
spent
over a
here.
year.
Yeah.
8 months, over a year. So you've got a good reference of
Yeah.
what life is like in Vilcabamba
Yeah,
with
definitely.
the family and everybody together. So you got the kids here and you move to this place, and then you're getting everybody, acclimated, getting the kids involved. And
Yes.
how was that? Like, talk about that, how, new families would go about doing that, or how that process was for you. Was it easy? Was it hard? What kind of activities did you get your kids involved in?
So we came here in June, and it was right when school was about to be let out. I think La Calandria is a school here that a lot of the kids go to. And I think mid-June, maybe they were going to get let out. And we hadn't really met that many families the first couple weeks. But then after that, we ran into a couple that invited us out to dinner at El Mexicano.
Oh, great place.
And
Yeah.
they set up a,
They invited like 4 other families.
no, they invited 8 other families.
Okay, more than 4
And just for us.
Awesome.
to
It-
come meet us.
Sure.
It was like truly
It was
impacting.
super touching.
It's awesome.
And it was kind of like the cherry on top that we were looking for, because for those 2 weeks, it was like, oh, is this just going to be like another alone where we don't find the community and it was just all like a dream? That's how we felt. And we're talking. And then we met this couple and it was like, boom. And we met all these people. Yes. So it was really fast. I mean, that's pretty fast when
Right.
you move to a new place, 2 weeks. I was being a baby for sure, but. But so our kids, the activities that they love, Harmon got involved into archery.
Cool.
And he loved-
archery.
he loved
liked it for
archery.
a while, yeah.
Our daughter Journey did silks.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Like
she,
aerial silks.
yeah, there's a circus class that she's involved in at La Casa de las Artes. And it's 2 days a week. And she
Sure.
goes there with a bunch of, her peers. And that's really fun for her.
Yeah, she does gymnastics, the silks, and then the ring. Like that's also part
the
of
aerial ring.
The aerial
Yeah.
ring.
Cool.
Well, now
She's
we have
obsessed with that.
is procured the right word?
It is. Nice.
Procured a gymnastics teacher. So we
Nice.
have private lessons at the house twice a week for her, because she got into it and she wasn't quite ready to. We did the Loja thing actually for a while.
Oh, yeah,
drove
we
back
tried
and
to
forth
drive, yeah.
Loja for her gymnastics classes for a while. And that was it was a lot.
Is that something that she did in the States, or is that something new for her?
Got into it here.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
something she actually her cousin, she watched her cousin do it in January and for like a week and was like, whatever that is.
Right.
I wanna
She's
do
been
it.
obsessed with it. She's always upside down or in some contorted position. Her flexibility is
Oh, it's awesome.
scary.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's
She's like,
so
why
good.
can't you do this, Daddy? I'm like,
Right.
Yeah, that's so awesome because it is a sleepy village in the Andes Mountains, and there's so many opportunities for activities like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, archery. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
My kids have never done archery in their lives, and there's
And it's
archery in
here.
Vilcabamba,
And it's affordable.
and right.
You can
That's
just
the big-
try
that's a
everything.
huge thing.
We
Right.
try everything because it's affordable. So it's like, let's just do it once and
Right.
see. Whereas you would never,
Yeah.
I would never do that in the States because
Right.
you'd sign up for a month for $120.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
But here, they have such an opportunity to kind of taste and see what they're interested in.
Yeah, it's been great. So what are some that makes it easy for the kids to help them transition, right? Because that's always
Yeah.
hard,
Yes.
At least for us,
Yeah.
you're always so concerned, and you realize how malleable kids are and how resilient, and
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's nice to see that, but it's still, as parents, you're thinking like, oh my God, how are they gonna adapt? How are is it gonna be hard for them? Is it gonna be like you want to make it make their lives awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're here for,
Yeah.
right? Teach them.
we wouldn't change our path, but Vilcabamba is a softer landing from an English speaking place than Alone was.
In our opinion.
Okay.
Because you're going to meet lots of other English speaking families. Like if you're not fluent yet,
Sure.
in Alone, there were a few.
Yeah.
But here, it's so just instantly you start meeting
Awesome.
people, and then so you're experiencing Ecuador, and you have some familiarity.
Well, and
And-
maybe because the weather's so great, I don't know, that's just a theory,
helps
but
too.
people are always out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
every day around
There's a little buzz
2,
always around the town.
Yeah, every day around 2, or not every day, but a lot of days around 2, we'll go over to the Coliseum
Sure.
with our kids and just see who's there. And
Right.
there's always somebody there to play with. And the Coliseum's basically just like a big field.
Very
It doesn't
basic
even have
park.
like a playground or
No,
anything,
it doesn't.
really.
No.
And so, but there's
Kids
just,
there.
yeah, there's always kids there. There's always people in town. You run into people There's actually a problem here. Like you just want to run to the grocery store and then you're like, you see 15 people that and you're like,
Yeah.
3 hours later.
I don't want to talk to you. You know?
You're doing the
I need to
quick.
go.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You just trust that they get it.
Some people have
Yeah.
some people have advised me to wear headphones. When
right. That's great.
it's a nice tip.
Always pretend you got to. Oh.
But on the flip side,
Right.
that's also really nice
No, it is.
because it's instant community without like having to invite someone to your house or be invited.
Yep.
Like I'm feeling lonely. Let's go sit and eat on the street, and
Sure.
then you run into
Yeah, you see people you
10
know.
people you know.
Yeah, my parents came and visited us for 6 weeks around the holidays this year, around Christmas, and they were just sitting in the park, and they would have people just walk up, talk to them on the park bench, other retirees
Yeah.
or anybody just,
Right.
how you doing?
See a new face.
Just because they were new and they'd never seen him before.
Yeah.
Right.
People are just like, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
How long have you
Yes.
been here? And they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah, cool. So that's good. So what about the differences in like restaurants and food from Alone to Vilcabamba? What is your guys' take on that?
There were a few really great restaurants in Alone.
And Montanita, yeah.
And
Alone
Montanita,
Montanita
that's
right next to
true.
each other.
Yeah, I've never been to Montanita. I've heard Montanita's got really awesome restaurants.
Yes, their restaurants were good.
Really
But
great.
comparably, Vilcabamba has the same amount of restaurants.
I would say
as
both
Montanita
places have
and
awesome
Montanita.
restaurants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this many times.
Yeah, the food is great here, and I don't know if it's healthier or not. I actually had a friend that just came back from visiting Alone for the season,
Okay.
and said that she felt like she was malnourished in Alone. Like
Really?
she's a fruitarian. She just eats fruit.
Something like that.
Okay.
Fruit-
She just eats fruitarian, and she
Interesting.
said, "I couldn't wait to get back to Vilcabamba because I feel like it has such better nutrients." And that was such an interesting. I had never thought of that
Sure.
perspective.
Yeah, we're so close to the Podocarpus here, so there's a lot of mineral-rich lands, and
Okay, maybe that's
so there's, again, there's some places even in Ecuador where they chemically farm and stuff. So you still have to be mindful if that's important to you, if you care about
Right.
organics, which is something a lot of people here care
a lot of
about.
people do.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more prevalent here. They use a lot more chemicals on the coastlines
Yeah.
because they do larger scale farming there often. So you can find it. It's
Yeah.
just sometimes it's not as easy. And then if they are using chemicals, then they're generally less minerals in the produce. So
Right. Wow.
So
She said she could feel it in her body.
Yeah.
interesting.
You know. But,
Yeah, that's a cool thing here, right? Because there's an organic market on Saturdays that if you really just want a one-stop shop, you can get fresh produce there that's organic.
And there's lots of individuals that sell also that you can get your fresh milk from and your whatever you want.
Well, when we
get it,
really fast, so we went back home last October and we would buy our avocados either in town or from the avocado truck. So the trucks here, the different trucks have different songs that they play while they drive by. And the avocado truck has a song, and we're talking like 10 to 15 avocados for $1.
It's crazy.
Amazing, big,
Right.
delicious avocados.
Where you get lots of avocado. It's not like
We're
mostly,
talking, I mean,
mostly
not
the
that.
seed.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that's what happens in the States. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that thing's the whole avocado.
Right.
It's a waste to cut it open.
Yes.
You feel cheated.
And they were three to $6 a piece when we got back to Kentucky. That's in Eastern Kentucky. So we had we realized the reverse sticker shock thing. Like, you know it's going to happen in your mind, but then when you get back, you're like, oh my gosh. Like we DoorDashed some Chick-fil-A the first day we were back, and it was like $81. And we were like, you can get almuerzos here in Vilcabamba for your whole family for what, like $14 or something like that for all 5 of us to eat.
You can eat for 2 weeks on $81.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people here that kind of live that lifestyle do that.
Sure.
Yes. And you can also get a steak and potatoes and like we feed our family of 5 like state style of food for like $50-$60.
Yeah. Yeah,
when
less
we go all out, like
oh,
we're
if you
getting
really go
alcoholic
all
drinks,
out.
Jake's getting a steak, I'm getting salmon, you know.
Oh, you mean lots to eat. Yeah.
Comparatively, we got Chick-fil-A for 81, or we can go to like fine dining and pay 50
Yeah,
or
I mean, some of the restaurants here, the drinks are so delicious, and all the ingredients are just so fresh, and just taking the family out to eat is much less expensive.
And there's a great variety. I will say that. Like there's a lot of restaurants from different places of the world. So that's been really neat. I had never had Indian food before I came here. Definitely never Turkish food.
Yeah, UFO.
Never Ecuadorian food, obviously, before I came here.
Lots of variety.
Yeah, there's a total variety. And you can eat unhealthy in Ecuador too, guys, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, there's lots of unhealthy food options. If you're on, there's lots of processed food options. There are, in general, I would say, particularly in Vilcabamba, there's lots of options where the ingredient decks are simple on food. So you go to La Baguette, the French bakery, and there's like 4 ingredients, and there's no preservatives, and there's whole foods generally. So you do have there's a larger propensity to run into options like that.
Yes.
But if you really want to eat unhealthy, you could
do that.
Totally do that here.
It's nice to have that option. Yeah. It's nice to have both.
Yeah, every once in a while you want a bowl of crappy sugar cereal. Yeah. And you can do that here.
Done.
Or eat a whole bag of Doritos, or you can still do it.
Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, cool. So activities with the kids, you hit the restaurant scene now. You guys had some expectations of that met expectation. Did that not meet expectations? How do you feel about, you've been here 8 months, what your perception was when you first moved to how it is now? Like or maybe even if you want to get to, what are some of the things that, are frustrating to you now that you've been here for 8 months?
Yeah.
Do you want to start? If you have something, you start.
Well, I mean, I'm a golf nerd.
Oh, man.
So if you're a golfer in Ecuador, golf is still like as exclusive as it was in the US in maybe like 1910, 1920, where only wealthy people have the ability to play golf. There's one public golf course in Monte Cristi, right outside of Manta. But I thought for sure there'd be one in Loja, but there's not.
There's only like 7 or 8 in the whole country.
Yeah. And they're private. Yep. And so I really miss golf. My gringo dream is to put a 6 or a 12 hole, I want it to be different. So 6 or 12 hole golf course here in this area, Loja here, because these views.
Do you have something to say?
The potential for downhill tee shots and hitting over the river. Go ahead.
So
somebody's doing it?
Nobody's doing it yet. We have a project. We have some land identified to be able to do that project. It's a moderate term project. It's not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But if that's something you're interested in, maybe we can partner together and do it.
Heck
Man.
yes.
Yeah,
I'd like to do it right.
it's
Wow.
Have somebody
Totally.
come down and design it. And
yeah. We've already
maybe
put a
raise
little
money
bit-
with the Ecuadorians that also share that.
Right.
that
There's so
dream.
many people that want to do it, and there's opportunity with the land here in the views, like you said.
We could do it in a way that respects the land.
100%.
Like, I'm sure no one wants to come in and just Americanize Vilcabamba. No, like work with this incredible scenery.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, in the golf courses, there's a lot of work that in the maintenance where they use a lot of chemicals, and there's ways
Right.
where you can harness like permaculture and some of these natural growing techniques to be able to keep weeds and to keep it aesthetically how you want it without being
Yeah.
intrusive and
Yeah.
not using chemicals. So
Wow.
yeah,
This is so awesome.
yeah, sweet.
Super excited.
Yeah, my dad worked for a golf manufacturer for almost his whole life. So golf, I'm a terrible golfer,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm the guy sometimes where the club goes farther than the ball,
But you enjoy it.
but it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. So, and it's definitely a need. We have a lot of people that come down, retirees, that's like, if I could change one thing, it would be, I wish there was a golf course close.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that want that, and there's just nobody doing it. And
Yeah.
sometimes in Ecuador, after you've been here a while, you realize oftentimes there's not really a good reason why something isn't done. It's just
Yeah.
because it's not. Like 'cause
They're not
nobody's done.
entrepreneurial minded as a whole.
Right. Generally. Yeah.
So yeah, meaning like they're super pumped to do their work week and have a few beers with friends and family on Friday and Saturday night, and then do that again next week. And maybe not looking to just stack and stack cash like we're kind of wired to do. And so I think one of the good things, as long as we're respectful to the country, that we could bring as Americans coming here is we see these ideas, these opportunities, like you guys have with this channel and what you do here. So the second thing I would say is my fault. And it's, I like to connect with people, and I like to have meaningful conversations and really get into nitty gritty. And Michelle, everybody makes fun of me where we're from because my nickname is one-on-one.
He finds one person.
So I'll be at a party with 300 people,
Hours.
and I don't go around and talk to 150 people for 8 minutes each.
Right.
I end up on one person. And because I have not become fluent in Spanish, I have the same shallow interaction with the store owners and the market owners over and over and over. And it frustrates me to a very serious degree.
Right.
Where I know either I may need to be somewhere where they speak English, or I need to just buckle in and learn Spanish.
You've realized it's one of your it's like one of your pillars.
It's
a foundational thing that you need.
Right. It's something that has washed out, and I'd really value it. I'd like to actually be able to kind of go deeper with the Ecuadorian people. And so I know enough Spanish to get around town and stuff, but I sound like a caveman.
But you want more.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you want to go deeper.
No, that's interesting. We're at the same. We've been here for 2 years. My Spanish has gotten worse because my kids have gotten better. My daughter can speak really fluent. So then she's become a crutch for me. So now I tried less. Like I've realized my Spanish has literally gotten worse because Bella just asked them this for me, or Bella, can you talk to them?
Cool,
yeah. I mean, it's awesome for them, but
Yeah,
I'm at the same place. We actually just started. We committed to, as a family, take Spanish lessons at least once a week formally, and then we're going to commit to like a self-practice because we're the same way. There's a few Ecuadorians that we've become really close with that we speak Spanglish together, and we connect that way, but it's hard to really have those
to go deep.
Right?
Right.
Without Spanish. So
that's hard for sure.
yeah, that's actually that's a good one, man. That's a real one. It's a real one for sure. What about you, Michelle? Anything for you?
Yeah, I think for me, my the most interesting thing here has been with cooking.
Okay.
So I'm not a cook, or I never was a cook. And I would go to the store and buy, veggie broth, and then canned this and and put it all in a crock pot and call that a meal. And that worked for us.
Sure.
And I had never really thought outside of that, like, make your own veggie broth? What?
Right, because at home the veggie broth is made for you, and you buy the can.
And you just buy it.
Here, people make their own veggie broth.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew there were like homesteaders that they can and they do those things, but they're the minority, and like this is pretty much a norm in my opinion. That was my understanding. So when we got to Ecuador,
none of it is
in the store.
None of it is
Yes.
Shock.
There's no chicken broth or veggie broth or anything. You know, I had to make those things, and
everybody makes it themselves. Yeah.
So we weren't alone during that time, and even our time here. So for a year, I wasn't cooking. You weren't really cooking. We ate eggs 4 nights a week. And then the other 3 nights we would go out to eat.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I mean, I was gaining weight. Like my nails were like flattening.
Really?
Because I wasn't getting the nutrients.
Oh, interesting.
Because I'm not eating anything good.
Right.
So when we came back, that was very hard. I mean, we were reintroducing chips. Like we hadn't eaten chips in years, but I'm like, I don't freaking know what's for dinner. So here's some chips.
Right.
Y'all will eat these and you'll like them. So that was a year of that journey of not really knowing what to eat. And then when we came back this February, that's when I finally was like, I feel like I have enough room in my transitioning process.
That's true. Yeah. We're more settled this time.
Learn how to cook because I really learned how to cook for the first time in Ecuador. And so I have veggie and chicken broth in my freezer now and shredded chicken in my freezer. You know, these things that are when you get in a recipe and you're like, oh, I need tomato sauce. And I've got to drive 45 minutes to Loja to get, Here, there's more of that stuff in the stores in Vilcabamba than there were in Alone. But
there's a few spices and sauces that you do need to go up to Loja to grab.
Sure.
For the most part.
But for the most part, it's here.
Yeah, and it's becoming even more.
I don't know if you agree, but
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, it's becoming things are even more available, but still that dang chicken broth.
Yeah. That's
Great. So I would say that was my biggest thing, that I thought I could cook. And then I moved here and I actually couldn't cook.
Right.
But now I can.
Right. Yeah. Now you can. And you're healthier.
Yes,
right.
my fingernails are now round.
Right, look at that. Perfect. Yeah. No, that's interesting because we were very similar when we came here. We were super healthy and eating organic and clean and gluten-free and didn't have buns on burgers and all this stuff. And then we came here and we're like, no expectations, no rules. Let's just experience.
Yeah.
And then it was so easy to fall into the bad habits.
Yes.
Where it was, I stopped working out, I stopped eating right, and then you realize, wow, it's the value of longevity. I'm the guy getting less healthy.
Yeah,
like what's happening?
You can do it here. Yeah,
you can.
And the transition process is so weird because it's kind of like at some point it's a vacation, and then it transitions into life. And so I don't know, it's different. I would say
that's true. When you're on vacation, you're thinking, whoa, we're going out to eat tonight.
Let's just chill.
Yeah.
About it all. And then
that's a great point. Right. That's probably the clarification, right? When you transition from the honeymoon vacation phase to really living life and making those decisions. Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Right. So what I think we pretty much, is there anything we missed from your guys' story or things that you think people that are considering living abroad or have families or anything that's unique to your story that you'd like to share that would be helpful for somebody to know? Or did we cover everything?
I mean, I think anytime in life, but also with this experience, when you lower your expectations or take them out completely, it creates room for kind of magic.
Yeah.
And expectations so often kind of lead the show. So I would say, if you are considering a move or if you're doing the move, just throw away your expectations. Like, let it be an adventure. Let it be an experience for you instead of being, did it meet this? Is it going to meet this? Because it really can be beautiful behind what you expect it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. No, it's great. Yeah, it's perfect.
And be okay not being a master. Like we mastered life in the States. And then we came here, and one of the reasons we cried in Manta is we felt so toolless, in the grocery store trying to buy spices. And you look up every spice and it wears on you, so the transition period for us was real. Our oldest kid I say, you know, and I can say the words, but not actually do it. I tell people he had 2 middle fingers to the sky. Because he was like, our oldest, Harmon, was like, why the blank did you move me here?
Yeah.
I had my bros back home, you know, so that was very real with Harmon.
And now
whereas
he
our
says,
girls embraced Ecuador right away, and now Harmon's back around to
Okay.
loving it here.
Nice.
and he's like, I don't want to go back.
He's like, I like
They'll
it
make
here.
me put on shoes.
Yeah, he really loves how he can not wear shoes, and
Yeah, it's great.
so yeah, just I would say you're gonna idealize your move in your mind and romanticize what it's gonna be like,
Which is
and
okay.
do that. But there is a very real, for us, was a very real transition period.
But we wouldn't change it for the
We
world,
would not change it.
because we've
No.
we've gotten
not
rid of
change
so much fluff. And by fluff,
Yeah.
I mean ideas about ourselves, ideas about what we thought we wanted and needed.
Yeah,
We've
it
narrowed
all becomes
down
clear.
because of this experience.
You don't know what's conditioning and what you actually want.
Right on.
You come here, it all filters down, and you're like, we really know what our family's about now.
Yeah.
And we really know the people we vibe with and the people we don't. And, you know, like, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
And it slows down enough. You're able to time travel in Vilcabamba,
Right.
where in some ways Vilcabamba is very forward.
Mm-hmm.
The people here are thinkers and critical thinkers. But then you can raise your kids as if it was 1952 in the United States, and they run around the neighborhood and ride their bikes, and they can be dirty for 3 days in a row. And
Right.
they don't get a slap on
Painting
the
a
wrist.
picture of our children.
Yeah, I mean, so
kids,
yeah.
kids here.
we wouldn't change it because we really know ourselves now.
Yeah.
And it's really,
And we wouldn't, it was too noisy to do that any other place.
yeah, too busy, too noisy. And when we went back for 4 months and came back, it felt great to be back.
Yeah.
It was nice to see everyone and everything, but the energy is different.
Mhm.
It's a little more frantic and things that aren't here.
In the
So,
States, yeah. It feels, I would describe Vilcabamba as like an exhale. That's what Vilcabamba is to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
Totally right. Yeah.
you know, that's how I feel.
Totally. This makes me feel like that right now.
Expat
Right?
exhale.
Yeah. Well, guys, this was really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Jake. That's been awesome, Michelle.
Yeah.
Very cool. You guys are very cool people. Thank you. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed hearing some perspective of an awesome young family that's taken the courageousness or taken it head on and moved their family here and shared some of their struggles and some of the the great things they've learned about themselves on their journey. And check out, if you like some of the things they're talking about, check out their podcast, the link below, Rethinking Podcast, right?
Rethinking life.
Rethinking
Life.
Yeah.
Darn it. All right, close. The Rethinking Life.
It's on
I just found out about the podcast today, guys. Yeah, I just found out about it, right?
Yeah.
So
And you had the name change.
and
with Expat.
right.
That's a
The
lot.
Rethinking Life. Check it out, guys. And if you like this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. If you have any questions for Jake and Michelle, put them in the comments below, and I'll be glad to ask them for you, and we can get you guys some answers if you have any questions about their life. If you guys are open to that,
Absolutely.
I just volunteered that without asking.
No,
Wow.
we would-
Well, no,
I
when
would
we
love
were
to
looking,
help.
we were so thankful when people actually responded and wrote back because we
Yes.
had genuine questions. You know,
Right,
when you're
right.
thinking about moving your life to Ecuador.
Cool. Well, that'd be awesome. So if you guys have questions, put them in the comments. We'll get them to Jake and Michelle for you guys and get answers for them. So we hope you liked the video. Thanks again, guys. It was really awesome. Appreciate your
Ray.
time. Thank you for doing this. In the famous words of Carlito, we hope to see you down here someday. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Bye.